Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
Red Gotsy. Alright, so I'm gonna talk about a little video, just quick video. It's gonna be like 10 minutes though, low key. Like I say quick video, but it's gonna be like 10 minutes, bro. But I'm gonna speed through this. Watch. Alright, so I'm gonna talk about the like DC and Marvel movies, just like superhero movies in general, and how a lot of their universes, like not necessarily like DC and Marvel universes are connected, but more so about the universes by themselves. Like the Spider-Man Rami trilogy, the Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, they are basically in the same universe, right? Same characters, same, kind of plot lines. Like each movie, you got the superhero Spider-Man, he goes through some, emotional like turmoil. Then you got a villain who, he's connected to somewhat in his personal life as Peter Parker. And then you got Mary Jane, she gets captured, yada yada yada. He saves the day. But in that universe, it's very consistent and very just like you can tell each movie is in that universe. Obviously, it's the same characters, same Spider-Man. But when it comes to the other Spider-Man movies, like Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland, people treat them, I feel like, as if they're in all the same universe. Like we obviously know, people talking about the Spider-Verse and stuff like that recently, which I hope happens. But like besides the Spider-Verse that we want to happen, like I feel like people already treat them as if they're already in the same universe because the villains are always different. And that's one thing I had to really think about. Even with the the Batman trilogy and stuff like that, and well, I'm going to get into that in a little bit, but with the Spider-Man movies, right? You got, even Andrew Garfield's who had 2 movies, sadly, he didn't get to finish, he didn't have like a trilogy or whatever, but they never redid the Lizard. They never did Electro, at least not yet. Redid them. I mean, they already did Amazing Spider-Man 2, but they didn't redo Electro. They didn't redo the Lizard. They didn't redo. I mean, the only one they really did was the Green Goblin that they redid. But other than that, and we all know who's the real really good Green Goblin. That's our favorite. That most people would say is their favorite. It's Willem Dafoe, from Spider-Man 1. But when it comes to most of the movies, they don't really redo villains. Like, it's just not a thing that they do. Because, and I think it's smart to kind of treat it as if, we already had the other villains. We already had Doc Ock. We already had Venom, Green Goblin. Stuff like that. Sandman, even. I think it's smart to do that because it gives people more options in terms of what they could see in a film. But it's almost like when people talk about them, I noticed this. It's like, and they talk about a new release when it comes to that certain superhero, even if it's a different character, a different actor, or whatever. It's like, they always want something new, something different, which is always like, of course, they want something different, from what we already had. But it's like, I like consistency, and that's what really battled with that kind of thought process. And I really kind of analyzed that and was like, okay, so this is their mindset. It's all in the same universe. This one hero is in the same. All the Spider-Man movies are the same Spider-Man, basically. That's actually very interesting once you really think about it. And I'm excited for the possibility of a Spider-Verse, kind of movie, and they just got to do it right. That is, you can have a big movie like Batman versus Superman, for example, is a great example of a movie that was very big, but they didn't do it right because they did not have a good storyline and they didn't use the characters that have been around for 80 years, 50, 60 years, whatever, to their advantage. They didn't use them right. But with the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they did well with the movies, the characters that they have, and they could have had more that were actually from the comics and stuff like that, but they did very well with what they had, and I just hope that they prosper. I'm not really looking forward to it, I already made videos about that, but that's off topic. With this, though, I really do like, I think it's very interesting. I kind of wanted to just explore that a little bit in this video and kind of say like I like it, but I also like dislike it because it kind of makes it so when you actually ruin a villain or the hero, for example, it kind of like makes it so that okay, now we can never do that in the next like 10 to 20 years. Like with Green Goblin, that was like a one time thing. Well, I mean, they did Venom too, but that's like not in the Spider-Man movie. But like if you ruin like event like in Spider-Man 3, they kind of like ruined Venom, kind of messed them up, and with like Harry's storyline wasn't that good, so like it kind of it's like a double-edged sword. If you ruin a villain like in one of these movies, it could ruin them for like a long time. And people always remember Spider-Man 3 for that. Even though I personally enjoyed it, I enjoy all three movies, but yeah, that's kind of on the Spider-Man side of it. Now, when it comes to Batman, I think it's very interesting, especially with the new Batman coming up, the like literally the Batman. That's kind of the movie that actually made me think about this. I also saw some reactions on YouTube, stuff like that. You know, people other people's opinions on this new take on the Batman, and you know, like I saw, you know, apparently in the trailer, the guy with like duct tape and stuff like that is the Riddler, which is I mean, you should already knew this by now, with all the question marks and stuff. So with that in mind, it's kind of like weird because obviously he doesn't look like the Riddler, you know, not at all. But it's kind of like they're trying to do more of a dark themed version of the Riddler, which, you know, they already had the Dark Knight trilogy. You know, they tried to make it more realistic and dark and gritty and like, you know, masculine. But like, my whole thing is it's kind of just weird because if you've never seen the comics, you never played the Arkham games, you never seen the animated series, none of that. It's like you don't even know who that person is. It doesn't like it just doesn't make much sense because if I were to do it personally, I would have given him a serious looking costume, but it would be green. It would maybe have a giant question mark on the front. It would be the Riddler. Now, I don't really like when they just choose darkness over like they sacrifice the actual characters just to add darkness. That's why I kind of bash these DC movies a little bit, but like, cause like that does annoy me. At least like back when they were doing like Batman versus Superman kind of content. But even when they do like Birds of Prey, they try to be goofy with it. They can still ruin the character. So it's not like, you know, oh, it's just dark and gritty. Oh my god. Like no, that's not what I'm talking about. But yeah, getting off track again. So, you know, it's a little video unscripted. You know, it's how I do. When it comes to the Batman movies, you already got the Joker. You already have Bane. You already got Ra's al Ghul in the trilogy. Then in the other movies, you have like low key Batman vs Superman, which is Doomsday, and I guess they hinted at Joker, you know, at some point, you know, like killing Robin or something like that, but he's never shown until Suicide Squad. And I don't even know if they even talk about it. So it's like, what does that even matter? And then you got Superman, who's basically Batman's villain. So, ish, sort of. And then he dies. That movie's stupid. I'm not gonna talk about that right now. But yeah, like, and then they have Justice League, which is Steppenwolf. Again, like Batman does not have a solo film, which he should have. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, like Shazam. They wanted to add all these characters, but they should have done it way back then, because they started this in 2013. My bad, 7 years ago. They could have actually gotten something going on up until this day. We wouldn't even have the Batman low key, but I would be fine with it because we would still have Affleck if they did the movies right. And I think Affleck was really good. Like when in the fight scene in Batman vs Superman, I'm just gonna mention that one more time. I just think that when it comes to these like the Batman movies, right? The connection between all of them is kind of it really was the thing that made me like think about this, because you got basically two Batmans going on like right now. You got a Pattinson and then Affleck, So it's like they're kind of already doing it at like a higher degree than even like Spider-Man did, like other Marvel movies, stuff like that. So I think this is like the most interesting thing. I really just wanted to like kind of like put this into words, and I'm glad this video went well. Kind of wanted to piece this together because it was interesting. People have already kind of mentioned this. I just never really put my mind on it and really like sat and just kind of thought about the idea that all of them are kind of connected. They all have some sort of. I mean, obviously they're all Batman, but different villains and stuff like that, different side characters. Very important. But at the end of the day, still Batman, still superheroes, still Spider-Man. So come subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys later.
Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe.